Hi guys, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Mike.
This is the Disney for Couples podcast where we talk about Disney World travel with tips, where to eat, where to shop, all of the above. But this is your hub of information just for grown-ups. We don't talk about, stroller parking or packing for babies or height requirements or anything like that.
Never.
We're a family-friendly podcast. We just don't talk about family stuff because Disney is really no place for kids.
And that's not what Walt wanted. So today on our lovely little podcast, we're going to be talking about what it was like for us to be in Walt Disney World during Christmas and during New Year's.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, was it 2 or 3 years ago now? We went for a really long trip and we were there through both holidays. It was an experience. We liked a lot of it. We didn't like a lot of it. But we thought that even though we're, in the beginning of July 4th is tomorrow, we thought that this is the time when people are planning their holiday trips. We're about 6 months away. So this is kind of probably the latest you would plan a trip like that, unless you're like us and you plan impromptu trips last minute and just go on a whim.
Right, because you want something from a gift shop or a specific drink.
Right, because you need to try like a new ice cream sundae or go on the brand new ride they just opened, which is how we travel. I honestly this morning was looking at flights because I just really wanted to ride Guardians. September came on my playlist on Spotify, and I was like, I wonder if we could just go for like a really quick trip. And then I realized that it's like summer and we don't go to Florida in the summer.
Lindsay Petrolongo, bought and sold by the Disney.
Yep.
So I can talk a little bit about what it was like for us on Christmas or around Christmas.
Yeah, especially on Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I was going to hone in on. So I recall that Christmas Day, we didn't want to be in a park, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We purposely stayed out of the parks on Christmas Day.
Yep. And this was before we had the annual pass. So this whole trip where we were there for a solid just about 3 weeks, we had to work off the reservation system, like people without the annual pass have to. Right.
And it was before, I think the reservation system is even a little bit more lax now. This was closer to COVID.
Right.
So it was even more strict.
Yeah. So.
Right. And I think we were there for like 3.5 weeks. I think that's how long we were away for.
Maybe. So Christmas Day, we spent the first part of the day hanging out at the hotel, being jolly and whatnot.
Right.
And then we had tickets to go see Cirque du Soleil's Drawn to Life at Disney Springs.
Yeah, we wanted to do something Disney.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't want to be in any of the parks. So we figured that was a good compromise. And we just wanted to do something special. So we had all of our gifts that we opened like we were in an Airbnb that vacation. We opened our gifts in the Airbnb and then spent the day and then went in. We went to Disney Springs at night to go to Cirque du Soleil. And what was our huge mistake that we made?
The big mistake was that we parked on the wrong side of Disney Springs.
Right. And even before that, we messed up because we waited way too long to leave. We were used to going to Disney Springs and just like going and parking.
Gallivanting.
And we were not prepared we thought all the crowds were going to be in the parks.
We were so wrong. Yeah.
So
it was a nightmare.
It took forever to park. We parked as far away as you can park from. There's a parking lot right outside of Cirque du Soleil. It's the
surface
level. I think they call it the surface parking. Yeah. It's just it's not a parking garage. It's just a parking lot. And we couldn't get in there. We were as far away as you could get. We ended up getting into the show late.
Yep.
But tell everybody what Disney Springs was like on Christmas.
Oh my God. It
was night.
Wall to wall human beings. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't move. And it was like a weekend night in the middle of the day. I think that Christmas fell on a weekday, or it may not have. That's 50-50. But I remember we turned into the pusher shovers, like,
we barreled through the crowd.
Not that we weren't beating up on people, but we were late.
And we were really late.
One thing that is true at pretty much any Walt Disney World, even Disneyland, like park, is people go slow, and we go slow too. We've said it a lot on the podcast. We don't like to run hot. But there's like our careful, measured slow, and then there's the
the lazy slow. Yeah. It was a whole thing on Christmas.
Yeah.
It was Christmas Day night, so it was the night of Christmas.
Yep.
And it was crazy. I mean, I can't imagine that the parks could have even been any busier. It was just like a sea of people. And Disney Springs, for anybody who hasn't been there, or even if you have, if you don't realize this, Disney Springs is the biggest like area that you can go in Disney World. It's bigger than any of the parks. It's the biggest. If you think of Disney Springs like we do as the 5th park, almost like an unofficial park, it's the biggest one. So to walk clear across is crazy. I mean, think about having to run from one end of Epcot to the other to get to like your lightning lane or something.
Right.
But there's just a sea of people. It was really intense.
Yeah.
And
then we got into the show late. It was a wonderful show. Very cool.
There was also the other thing that made the crowd.
Sorry, more bad stuff first.
The other thing that made the crowd so difficult was this was before the walls were gone from that bottleneck area of Disney Springs.
Over by
that
Salt
like
and Straw.
Yeah,
Is that
right.
what it's called?
Yeah, I don't even think Salt and Straw was open at that point, the ice cream place.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you've ever been to Disney Springs, there's that like long, narrow walkway that goes past, you're going past what's over there? Salt and Straw. The food trucks. Split. Yeah, you're on your way to Splitsville and you're passing the M&M store and like all of that. Well, there used to be, up until not that long ago, walls on like one whole side of that because they were doing a ton of work, which just made the area that much more narrow, that much more, you just felt like so closed in and claustrophobic. And so I just have this really distinct memory of like being there and you could see Cirque du Soleil and I'm thinking, God, it's like Christmas. Like it's our Christmas. It's the whole thing we're doing on Christmas, this and dinner, and we can't get there.
Yeah, so that's my number one little bit of advice is get there early. It sounds obvious, but when you start making assumptions about what crowd levels are gonna be like, you're always gonna be wrong.
Yeah, I would, if I could redo it, I would pull into Disney Springs. Like I would pull into, well, you don't pull in, you just kind of go to where the parking lot is, but I would get to that area 90 minutes before I had to be anywhere.
Yeah,
at least.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, the show was good.
The show was great. We saw Drawn to Life.
Yeah, very cute, fun, lively, entertaining experience.
Yeah, it's adorable. If you've never been to Cirque du Soleil, we'll probably do a whole podcast on it at some point. We have a whole article that goes over it on our website, disneyforcouples.com. But the long story short is that Cirque du Soleil is fantastic. And if you've never been to that theater, something that's good to know is there's not a bad seat.
Right.
It's not very big. Right. Everywhere you are, you can see the stage and it's great. And the stage is circular. So you're kind of like always near somebody no matter where you're sitting. And there's a big screen in the back that's showing you what's going on if you want to see it even more up close.
Yes. And Drawn to Life has been the show there for a long time now, right?
It's been there for a long time, yeah, because I went to Cirque du Soleil years ago with my family and it wasn't Drawn to Life. But whatever show that was, I don't remember. But that was a long time ago. And I don't know if it was there as long as Drawn to Life has been. Drawn to Life almost feels like the permanent Cirque du Soleil show.
Maybe, yeah. So the show was great. And then afterward, we went to dinner at Chef Art Smith's
Homecoming. Yep, Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. There's now a Chef Art Smith something in MCO in the Orlando airport. Oh. They were like working on it one of the times that we were there, and then the last time it had opened.
When you said MCO, I was like, what part of Disney is that?
What ride is MCO?
Yeah. I don't remember what I got. I remember it was good. I think it was like your typical fried chicken dinner with good sides. Yeah,
it's like Southern food. It was good. I mean, the place was really cute. It wasn't very Christmassy, it wasn't there are probably, not that there's a Christmas themed restaurant there or anything, but there are probably, maybe you would want to get Italian or something just a little bit more like, I almost think of a more dramatic setting for Christmas.
Yeah.
But we really liked it. The food was good. The service was great.
And
I remember getting moonshine cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
Like moonshine lemonade cocktails.
And for those unaware, Disney goes nuts for decorating for the holidays, and Disney Springs is no exception. It's adorable. It's full of charm. There are Christmas trees all over Disney Springs that are themed to different
rides and attractions and stuff.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's really cute. Actually, when we talk about Halloween in a little surprise, we're talking about Halloween in a little bit. I want to compare the decorations because there are distinct differences.
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to talk about what it was like for us to be in Epcot on New Year's Eve?
Yeah. So we purposely didn't want to be in a park on Christmas. I don't think we were in a park on Christmas Eve either. I think we just stayed away from the parks. We wanted to be in Disney World, but not there. But we really wanted to be in a park on New Year's Eve. That was a big deal for us, was to be there. Disney World has the best fireworks on the planet, and we really, really wanted to go. That's why we stayed through New Year's Eve, was to be able to go to the party. So we wanted to be in Epcot. I like the fireworks in Epcot most of all. We also have an article on our website about how much we hate the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. Not the show itself, but the experience. So go check that out.
The pain.
So we wanted to be in Epcot. Epcot is the easiest place to get a spot to watch the fireworks. And it's also like the most adult of the parks. So that's where we wanted to be. So tell us about the parties.
Oh, man. So the majority of the shindigs that were going down that night were focused over World Showcase. And, I mean, everywhere you went, there was a mini to moderate-sized party.
It was incredible. I distinctly remember China.
There were a handful of countries that went over the top with DJs and pyrotechnics and
China, the big dragon.
Yeah,
that big dragon puppet.
Yep, it was incredible. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it is important to note that the parties at the countries, they weren't at every country.
Right.
They were like scattered around. They spread it out perfectly because when you were at one, you couldn't like hear the music from the other. You could kind of look across the lagoon and go, "Oh, I see lights. Maybe I feel a little thumping, like what's going on over there," but they didn't interfere. They weren't themed to the country. So like the China, fake China had the dragon, but it wasn't like the music was Chinese. Like it was all just pop.
Like
it was just like normal top 40s music.
Yep. You had, I'm assuming I had some champagne or something like that, but I distinctly recall you having some kind of glass of. Did
I find the champagne?
Booze.
I remember seeing people having champagne and not knowing where to get it. I'm sure we had something.
I thought you did.
Yeah. But tell us what the absolute favorite party was that we went to.
So our favorite, the second to last thing that we did for the night, I believe, was in the UK pavilion. They were having what do they call that?
They call it a silent dance party. And it was back in the garden, in the garden area. It was packed.
Yeah. And so basically what you would do is you'd walk up and there were, a handful of cast members that were handing out headphones that I believe were tuned to one of two frequencies.
There were two DJs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were two live DJs.
Yeah.
And one of them, you would put on your headphones and you would be on a channel that was like red and you knew like that was that DJ. Mm-hmm. And then you would change it and you could see what somebody else was listening to. So if like you were listening to the red one, I would say like I would, mime to you like change to blue and then we would be hearing the same music. Mm-hmm. And nobody else can hear it. I mean, I don't think a silent dance party is something people don't know about anymore, but like, we really had never done it or seen it. It was incredible. It was so much fun.
We have great pictures.
Yeah, we have a lot of good pictures.
Yeah. And then to cap it all off, we had the firework experience of apocalyptic proportions.
Yeah, but before that, do you remember this just popped into my memory? They did a New Year's Eve countdown and fireworks celebration for every country.
I remember something
when
like
it was
that.
Their New Year's Eve, when it was their midnight, which was great. So it would be like, okay, it's time to celebrate whatever. And like, everybody would kind of gather around and watch. And cheer and then like go on with their night.
Yeah.
But then at like midnight, it was just, we thought something went wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is
Oh,
we
I'm
thought there
sorry.
was a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was just, the fireworks were so bright and there were so much. And there were a lot of them that were low, like the ones that like jet across. And for a minute, we just thought they're like all going off and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like there's something
It's just Final Destination night at Epcot.
Right. And there wasn't, of course.
Yeah. It was awesome, though.
But what do I always say about the sky that I remember thinking?
I don't remember.
It looked like daytime.
Oh.
The sky
yeah.
was so lit up that it
yeah,
looked like
that's right.
the sun had come out.
Yeah.
And we have the picture when we're leaving that's just, we have a picture of Spaceship Earth that's like covered in smoke because it was just, it was smoky and hazy.
Yeah.
After that for as far as you could see.
So if you're looking to do a true Disney adult, like, let's go down and party, we highly recommend doing something like what we did on New Year's Eve
Totally.
at Epcot.
Yeah. I would even recommend doing, if we do it again, which I think we will, we'll skip Christmas. We'll spend Christmas at home with the family, go to Disney for New Year's Eve, and then have most of our vacation after New Year's Day. Because that's when all the crowds are going to empty out. People are going to be leaving. They're there for the holidays. So I wouldn't go back for Christmas. There was no way around it being incredibly busy.
Right. Yeah. Did you have any closing thoughts on this Christmas New Year's segment?
No, I think that's it. Just, yeah, if you're on the fence about which one to go for, New Year's Eve all the way and Epcot. Like Epcot especially.
And remember, arrive early.
Yeah, if you have plans for anything, if you have tickets or reservations
Right.
for dinner
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just generally want to not be miserable at Disney Springs, get there well ahead of when you want to be there.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, let's move on to our next segment, which is, are you ready? Mm-hmm. It is the halfway to Halloween segment of our podcast.
It's the mwahaha. It's the Disney thing of the week that we're talking about, and we're gonna do we're talking about halfway to Halloween because it is halfway to Halloween.
That's right. Yeah. So what are you feeling?
Wait, we're not halfway to Halloween.
Are we not?
We're halfway to August, September, October. We're
4 months to Halloween.
Why do I think we're halfway
It's
to
gonna
Halloween?
be Halloween soon in Disney and the whole world.
January, February, March, April. Why are we calling it that?
Because we're dumb.
All right. Well, we're talking about Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about Halloween now. If you liked our Christmas segment, here comes Halloween.
Yeah, we're halfway to Christmas. Is what we're halfway
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving on.
Anyway,
Uh-huh.
Halloween is a thing happening this year
Uh-huh.
sometime, and we just wanted to talk about it.
So why don't you tell the people about your thoughts on Halloween at Walt Disney World?
Yeah, so we've we've been there on Halloween a few times. We've never gone to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. We will go at some point.
Yeah.
It's very kid heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone to the after hours events.
I've even seen kids in the videos.
Sometimes we've seen kids at Disney World. But no, we've gone to the after hours events. We love those because they're not overcrowded and there's not a ton of kids. The Mickey's Not So Scary is really geared toward kids. So it's just not super appealing to us. We'll do it at some point. But we've never been, but we have been in the parks. We've been in Magic Kingdom and the other parks on Halloween. And it's important to know that if you're not going to the party and the party is at Magic Kingdom, if you're not going to the party, there's really not a Halloween celebration. You will forget that it's Halloween.
I remember that.
Yeah, there's decorations. There's the October decorations all over all of the parks.
Yes, and they're so charming.
But you're not going to know that it's a holiday. I've actually forgotten, like, it's Halloween.
Not the only reminder that I had when we were there was that they had something for Paige at the hotel, like if she wanted to do trick-or-treating.
Right, and that wasn't a Disney hotel.
Right.
That was Bonnet Creek.
Right, yeah.
So that's important, that's important to keep in mind. I remember the first year that I went with the family on Halloween and Paige was little.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, we're not going to go to the party, but like, surely they'll do something, and you just wouldn't have even known. So, but besides that, I mean, I love being in Disney World on Halloween because it's a great time of year to go to Disney. It's not as hot as it is the rest of the year. The sun goes down early, so you get more time without the heat. And I really like seeing the shift after Halloween. If you're there for a few days, you'll see them decorate.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's when they will decorate for the holidays.
Yeah.
So you can walk in one day to the park and it's autumn decorated, and then like the next day it's Christmas.
Yeah, and they do that so quickly. And we've seen a couple of like behind the scenes programs about how they do that, and I mean it is a process, but they've got it ironclad at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly they do everything.
Yeah. Cool. Are you ready for the final segment?
What is it?
It's called Would You Rather, which we've already done, and this is a new edition.
Right. Yep.
Yes. So
do you have your Would You Rather for me?
I do.
Okay.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay. So my Would You Rather that I'm aiming to you. Oh, that's right. This is a Would You Rather based around Epcot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, people. So it's a Would You Rather based on Epcot, and this is my question to you. Would you rather be able to ride the original Journey into Imagination?
Okay.
Or be able to go into all the different sets, like walk onto the sets of Spaceship Earth?
Ooh, that's a good one. Have you ever been on the original Journey to Imagination? No, you didn't.
The
it was
Dream
gone.
Finder was long past.
Yeah, God, I loved it. So I can like ride it like once. Is that what you mean? Like it's a one time, or do you mean like it's back?
Let's say it's back.
So my decision is between Journey to into Imagination being like the original.
But for that, it's back for a day.
Ah, man. Okay.
Yeah. Disney. They're going to rip that stuff out before you can even shed a tear.
Walk into the sets.
Yes.
Oh, I have to walk into the sets.
That's my girl.
Totally.
Good job.
Yeah. Can I tell you why?
Yes.
Well, I've been on the original Journey into Imagination.
Right.
And also, I'm sure you can watch it on YouTube.
Stoob.
Yeah. So I think you can watch it on YouTube. So if you really want to like experience it again, I can do that. But I can't watch on YouTube somebody walking through the sets of Spaceship Earth. So that would have to be it.
Okay. I love your answer.
Okay.
Now what's mine?
Okay. Would you rather so this has to be, picture that we're on a trip where you're drinking. Like last time we went to Disney World, you really didn't like drink alcohol. So this is a trip where we're drinking, where you like want to drink. So it can't be as easy as, well, I'm just like not going to drink. Okay.
Okay.
So here's your would you rather. Would you rather get all of the cocktails in Epcot that you want for free?
Okay.
But you have to drink 2 of the Epcot pickle milkshakes every day you're in Epcot for free, but you have to drink them, and then you can get all the drinks you want. Or if the only other option was this, would you rather pay 3 times as much for the cocktails in Epcot, but like you don't have to drink the pickle milkshakes?
I don't like this question.
Yeah, it's not a good question. It's not supposed to be. Yeah. That's the point.
I have to put both of these in my own words.
Well, while you're thinking of it, I want to tell everybody that Mike liked the pickle milkshake. So they had, what was that during? What festival? Arts?
No, that was Food and Wine.
Really?
But it
was
may
in
have
the
been
Muppet
carried
themed.
over. I think it may have been carried over from one year to another. But I remember when we were there with the family at the Odyssey building.
Oh yeah, because Andy had a sip and Paige was there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was that was in the Odyssey building, and the point was that it was like the Muppet themed creation that like Beaker and Honeydew made, and you liked the first
couple of sips,
quote unquote liked it, and then it quickly
it dawns on you what's happening in your mouth.
Right, you're like, oh yeah, that's vinegar. Right.
Yeah. 2 pickle milkshakes, free cocktails, or pay 3 times as much
per cocktail. Which is a lot.
That's
because the Disney drink, I mean, even if it's a beer, it's like a lot.
Oh God. For the sake of people listening, I'm gonna have to pick something. So I choose having the 2 milkshakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm paying triple.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing money at it.
I support you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Godspeed. I hope it works out for you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Check us out at DisneyForCouples.com. We also have a sticker shop. All of our designs are custom made for the shop. They're inspired by Disney parks. The stickers are waterproof vinyl, so you can put them on your luggage, your car windows, your water bottles, whatever. Check that out at magicalstickershop.com, or you can go to Etsy. It's the Magical Sticker Store on Etsy. So go shop. We just launched a new collection, which is the Princess at the Parks. It's Belle, Cinderella, and Ariel Disney bounding as park goers. So go check it out.
And hop over to our website, DisneyForCouples.com, too.
Yep.
If you want to check out articles or what have you.
Yep. And stay young, just like Walt would want.
Bye.
Bye-bye.